all, and welcome to Quiz Showdown, the show where our panellists will take a trip to the real bizarre world that is our variety of quizzes. I'm Daniel Campbell, the mastermind behind this whole charade, and folks, we have an episode that is years in the making. Maybe a bit more so than the last time I had to introduce a show quite like this. Now, a year ago, David Campbell and Scott McLeod competed in what is so far our highest viewed episode of Quiz Showdown to date, Quiz Showdown 4 Goes Hollywood. The GOAT narrowly managed to defeat Scott McLeod, and he's since went on to do some quite good things. Go check him out on First Class League, and also 10 Reasons Not to Make a Movie will be coming out very soon. Keep an eye out for that one. Scott himself, however, he has gone on to blaze a trail here on Quiz Showdown. He's tied his brother Ross for all-time victories on 4. He's a 3-time Quiz Showdown champion, current champion as well, may I add, and he's always delivered consistent performances, establishing himself as maybe one of our best quizzes here on Eat Sleep Suplex Retweet, if not the best. However, there is one man who could stake a claim to also be in one of our best quizzes, and that man is a guy you could call a walking encyclopedia of knowledge. I am talking about the stats man of Saturday Draft Live, David Haughney. Now, while David hasn't won an episode of Quiz Showdown to date, he's always delivered consistent performances on here, and some great moments. Not to mention, out with Quiz Showdown, he's a multi-time ESSR champion, and a former winner of the draft as well. Now, over the last few months, Scott's displayed a brand new confidence. You could call it arrogance, maybe. And he's even dismissed Haughney's abilities on Quiz Showdown, which is what has brought us here to this point today. It's a point that also happens to coincide with the 4th anniversary of Eat Sleep Suplex Retweet's formation. So of course this quiz will celebrate the history of the podcast, as well as our other ventures here and there. And this won't just be like a regular run-of-the-mill quiz that we do here on Quiz Showdown. You know, the fun kind of variety of stuff. We're getting very serious today. And much like the last time Scott had to face somebody called David, this will be a 30-minute Ironman match. And if you're wondering how this is going to work, well, here are the rules. The quiz will consist of 5 6-question rounds, each lasting roughly 5 minutes, followed by a general round consisting of questions from previous Quiz Showdowns. Players will have 15 seconds to write an answer down before I ask them to present their answer. Each player will have a 1-minute break option, and if they are not used before the 25th minute, then that minute will be a break to allow them time to prepare for the final round. In the event of a tie, the quiz will continue under sudden death rules, with the winner being declared the Quiz Showdown champion. Now, both David and Scott are ready for the quiz today, but before we get to the nitty gritty, let's find out how we got here. Scott, I couldn't help but notice you did a lot of bashing of other people who weren't even here.
I have no memory. I don't think about people who can't beat me.
You seem very confident about yourself, which is fair enough. And oh, well, Scott, I've got news for you, pal.
Do you now?
On the aptly named Quiz Showdown 15 Clash of the Titans, it is going to be you, Scott McLeod, versus David Haughney in a 30-minute Ironman match.
Ooh. There we go.
I love this Ironman match.
Me versus David Haughney. Are you serious? That man hasn't beat me since 2019. I have surpassed that man in every conceivable way. Now, after moping, I can't win Quiz Showdown, he's crawling out of his wee hole, thinking because it's one-on-one he can beat me. Let him fucking try.
So here we are. Daniel Campbell has made the announcement. The next Quiz Showdown is going to feature the 2 titans of this podcast going against each other. Me versus Scott McLeod in a 30-minute Ironman match. Myself and Scott have gone against each other many a times before, and in some cases I respect his performance that he's put in.
No! Quiz Showdown champion, the first multi-time Quiz Showdown champion in the show's run, Scott McLeod. Folks, he's only gone and done it again. It's Scott McLeod.
Oh.
Point.
Damn it!
It is Scott McLeod.
Me though, I've yet to win a Quiz Showdown, but don't take that away from the fact that I have beat Scott McLeod on quizzes before. You're not invincible when it comes to these quizzes. Take it from me. You might have the odds in your favour, the numbers in your favour, hell, you've even got some podcast members in your favour.
He just can't win Quiz Showdown. It's the hill he can't get over. Well, it's a couple of hills he can't get over, but it's the one he keeps talking about more than anything.
That doesn't matter to me a jot.
So here we are. Quiz Showdown 15. Clash of the... What am I doing? You idiot with a hat indoors. You got a history. I've beaten you before, ages ago. Oh, but I can beat you again. No, you didn't. Oh, shut up. You rested on your laurels. You're just happy to have those wins under your belt. You see me, I took the losses and I got better. And since then I have surpassed you in quiz wins, in draft wins, and in title wins. I want to see the old David Haughney, the David Haughney that used to give me a run for my money on the Rumble quiz. We all saw the XT quiz. Didn't come back, did he?
And I don't care how many wins you've had, Scott McLeod, because the only number that matters is 1.
I want to see the old David Haughney, because if you can't find that David Haughney, mate, you may as well not show up.
Even if you beat me 99 times out of 100, that leaves 1 time. 1 time for me to claim the top spot. 1 time for me to claim the Quiz Showdown Championship.
I can see in your eyes how much this means to you, how much you're desperate to get that one more quiz and how desperate you are to get that Quiz Showdown Championship. I will run you out of Quiz Showdown faster than Adam Cole got run out of NXT. Baby.
I will be sitting at the top of the mountain as your Quiz Showdown champion in 3, 2, 1.
Well, folks, we have seen the promo package. You have seen all the comments they've made towards each other. And now it's time to get down to business. I am joined now in the Quiz Showdown virtual studio by our 2 competitors today. I have first with me, he is the stats man of Saturday Draft Live and the former ESSR champion, former 365 champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it is David Haughney. David, how are you doing?
Thank you. And you also forgot to mention the second ever double champion of ESSR, holding both the ESSR title and the 365 title at the same time.
Very good accolade right there to have, folks. And our next man, he is our defending Quiz Showdown champion. He is the king of the SAS. He's had many championships. You could call him perhaps the Triple H of the podcast for his title reigns. This is Scott McLeod.
It's all about the game and it's all about the SAS when it comes to being the man in Quiz Showdown. Yeah, Quiz Showdown champion, 3-time Quiz Showdown champion, an accolade that was not present in David Haughney's list of accomplishments, which that's what helps separate me from him. And I know there's some people out there all of a sudden, despite what Dave might want to say in the promo package about having people in his corner, people seem to have turned against me for some reason. I can't put my finger on why some people of this podcast may have turned against me, saying I'm on some sort of reign of terror, and just for that I will make sure this reign never ends.
You become the John Cena of this podcast now. I mean, it started off well. You started getting some fans, but then it got to a point where everybody started turning against you.
Now, please note, folks, he said John Cena, not Alan Jones.
John Cena has got nothing on me. Come on.
I bet everybody can see you.
There is that too, yes.
And I wish I couldn't see you, Dave. But here we are.
Oh. Well, you could have just simply not came here, but then you would have forfeited your title. So you have to defend it, and you have to put up with him. But folks, before we crack on, I thought I'd do a little bit of interesting statistics here. I like to do some stats every now and then, so let's have a little rundown. Here is a tale of the tape for our gentleman here today. Coming into this episode, David is on a Quiz Showdown record of 0-8. Will today be the first one? We will find out. He is, to date, an 8-time ESSR champion, a 365 champion, a 1-time winner of the draft, and one founding member of Eat, Sleep, Suplex, Retweet. On the other side of the fence, we have Scott McLeod. He has a record of 4-7 in Quiz Showdown, a 12-time ESSR champion. He is a 365 champion, a 2-time winner of the draft, and your 3-time Quiz Showdown champion currently defending. Now, there's a lot of big accolades in there, guys, and how do you feel about your chances for today, given that this will be a very different quiz than usual? This is an Ironman match we're going into. I'll come to you first, Dave.
Well, obviously, a lot of these quizzes are usually more of a sprint rather than a marathon. So I think the best way to approach it is, just go at your own pace and don't try and overthink things. Actually, I feel like that's what I've been doing on Quiz Showdown a lot of the time. I always jump for my... I always let my overthinking get the better of me. If I feel like I know the answer, I'm just going to go for it.
It's a good way to do it. And Scott, of course, you are no stranger to an Ironman match. You famously competed on Quiz Showdown 4 Goes Hollywood in a very narrow losing effort to David Campbell. How are you feeling this time round?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the time that will work against me, like the time limits, because I took David Campbell to sudden death before that loss, so I at least I'll do it with some dignity. I think it's just the subject. I know, obviously, I'm fairly confident in most things kind of wrestling related, but there's still an air of unknown about what this is going to be this time and what the rounds are going to entail. So, I just don't need to let the time limit get to me. I just like, what you know. And I've been in this situation more times than Dave has, so the pressure is less on me than it is on him.
Very true. And gentlemen, we are about to kick off the half an hour. So you know the rules, I've gone through them before, and your first round will be on the draft, something that's very familiar to the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose, gentlemen, that leaves me with one question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I said, are you ready?
I thought I was Triple H here.
I was waiting for a Triple H reaction.
No, I'm Terror Rising. I don't know who that other guy is. So, gentlemen, I have half an hour waiting here. And good luck, gentlemen, to the both of you. Here we are for the Quiz Showdown Championship, Clash of the Titans, Scott McLeod versus David Haughney. 30 minutes beginning now. And gentlemen, I give you your first question on the topic of the draft. What drafting position has the most wins?
Oh.
The most wins in the draft to date. And I need an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. David, I come to you first.
4.
4 is correct, Scott.
In tinier writing, it's somewhere in the corner. I put 4th.
4, perfect. Both of you go 1 up. Our next question. Before season 10, which wrestler has the 10th most draft points in history?
10th?
The 10th most draft points.
These questions were prepared by Stephen Wilson, so you can't blame me on this one. And take answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott, I'll come to you this time.
I blanked on this one. I'm going to say Kenny Omega.
Is incorrect, David?
Seth Rollins.
Incorrect. The answer was Rhea Ripley. We now go on to our next...
Seth, I knew it wouldn't be Seth, like near the top, I'd say.
I believe so. Our next question. Who is the only pick to score negative points in a season?
Oh.
So who's been someone unfortunate enough to not even get into positive points? We'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. David, to you.
Rusev.
Rusev is incorrect, I'm afraid. Scott?
I was going to go Charlotte Flair. That time Ryan picked her.
No, she got a 0 on that one. The answer I was looking for was all the way in season 1. It's the Iconics. Yep, when Sarah had the Iconics on her team. Question 4, bit of an interesting puzzle one here. Who is the only pick to have been on 2 winning teams and also be the lowest scorer on each team? Must be quite an interesting distinction to not even score very highly on a team, in fact, be the lowest person of all. I'll get an answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Alexa Bliss.
Incorrect for Alexa. Scott?
I don't know if you can make it out. Sonya Deville.
Incorrect for Sonya. It was Ember Moon. She was the lowest season 2 on Stephen's team and season 7 on Scott's team.
That was your team.
She was that bad, I forgot about it. I know Sonya was on my team in season 4 and she didn't do very well.
Well, we crack on to our final 2 questions of the first round. This one, I'm looking for a quantity here. How many picks score more than 100 points in the first transfer window?
Oh.
How many picks?
How many picks, yes. These are picks that scored more than 100 in the first transfer window. Tell me your guess in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott?
6.
Is incorrect. Dave?
18.
Is incorrect. There were only 5 who scored more than 100 points in the transfer window. Those were Cody Rhodes with 109, Asuka with 122, Sasha Banks 180, Drew McIntyre 187, And not surprised, she's up at the top right here. Bailey on 246.
We shouldn't feel too bad. It's not as if the two of us are hosts of a draft show or anything.
No, not at all. And the last question on this round, perhaps an easier one. At the end of season 6, how many points separated Jack Graham and myself? And I was quite proud of how I did that season, to be fair. Really enjoyed that one. And we'll see your answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dave?
2 points.
It's incorrect, Scott.
I believe it was just one single point that separated you.
It was a single point. And at the end of the first round, Scott is only a point ahead on David Haughney. We're now going to move on to round 2, which is the host with the most. I'm going to name you a show from ESSR's back catalogue. You just have to tell me who hosted it. So we're going to start off with the review of Glow Season 1. So who hosted the review of the first season of Glow? And we'll take answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott?
I may have second guessed myself. I was going to say Stephen, but I've instead gone for Sarah.
Is incorrect with Sarah. David?
The GOAT, David Campbell.
Is incorrect. It was actually Stephen who hosted the first one.
So I knew, no, David took over the reviews as 2 and 3, but not season 1.
That's correct, yeah. So we go on to our next one. And who hosted the COVID era of wrestling? This was our episode looking back at wrestling in the pandemic era. Although if you want quizzes on that, Scott and I know a thing or two about doing quizzes regarding the COVID era. And we'll take answers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. David?
Sarah.
Correct with Sarah. Scott?
If it's Sarah as well.
Correct. Both of you go up a point. Our next one, who hosted the career profile of The Big Show? I imagine that show was quite a large show to listen to.
People kept turning on each other. It was a chaos.
Every 2 minutes, it felt like. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott?
The star of 10 Reasons Not to Make a Movie, Andy Mitchell.
Correct with Andy Mitchell. Dave with the same answer. Both of you are going up. You are currently 4 to Scott, 3 to David. Our 10th one, 10th question of the whole quiz, 4th of this round. Who hosted the 2019 SummerSlam review? 2019 SummerSlam. That feels like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Back when The Fiend actually worked. And 3, 2, 1. David Boy?
I'm pretty sure this was the GOAT, David Campbell.
Correct with the GOAT. Scott?
Oh, I got that wrong. I had Ross.
Oh, there we go. So we equalize now. We are 4-4. Our next question, who hosted the Mania 35 profile of Kofi Kingston? Kofi Kingston, of course, having a fantastic WrestleMania that year, becoming WWE champion against Daniel Bryan. A match that I cried at, I'll be honest. And 3, 2, 1. Scott?
I'm pretty sure that was Ross. I know he was on it.
Is incorrect. Dave?
Was it me?
Incorrect, I'm afraid. It was Derek who hosted this one.
Ah.
And
Sorry,
the last
Derek.
one for this round, we apologize to Derek profusely. Our last one on this round, who hosted the Survivor Series 2019 review? And again, it's another chaotic Survivor Series that year. Hot off the heels of one of the best ever SmackDown episodes I've ever watched. And 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Ross.
Correct with Ross. Scott?
I put Ross as well. Like the last 3 seconds, I was confident somebody else went, no, it was.
Yeah, both correct. It was Ross. You are now up 5-5. And we're now going into round 3, which is this is a very interesting, fun round. So this round is going to be, I read out a quote from an episode of one of our feature shows. You just have to tell me who said it. So let's see if you can test your skills of knowing other people's banter. Our first quote. Oh, I am important. Overly so. And I can't wait to kick everyone's ass that's here today. So who do you think would have said that? Oh, I am important, overly so, and I can't wait to kick everyone's ass that is here today.
I think that seems so obvious that I might have got it wrong. It seems too obvious.
We will find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott, what's your guess?
But the most humble man in the podcast, the GOAT David Campbell.
You are correct with the GOAT David Campbell, and David Haughney is the same, correct with David Campbell. Our next question. We're not waiting around to shame him for this. He's put John Cena. There's a giggle from Dave. I wonder what that potentially means.
Oh, I know, because I hosted this show.
Perhaps an advantage there. We will see in 3, 2, 1. Dave, if you're confident, who said it?
It was Ross.
It was indeed Mr. McLeod. Scott?
It was Ross. Yeah, I remember listening to it live.
Yes, indeed, Ross. This was, I believe, the infamous Alan Jones debacle that happened here.
Of course, Dave knows, but he's the only one who won't let us forget it.
That was an interesting quiz to listen to. I'll admit that was also the first episode I ever listened to.
Nice.
Good one to start off on as well. Great.
We're on a time limit here. Come on, let's keep it moving.
Telling the host that. Our next question. See, on that note, I just remember the chants, that's illegal. Very interesting quote there. See, on that note, I just remember the chants, that's illegal. Who said that? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll come to Scott first.
I'm not entirely confident. I put our MVP Kwakuraji.
Kwakuraji is correct. Dave, you have the same.
Yep, Quacker.
Very good. Evenly paced here. I like this. Our next quote is, I hated Cena, so I loved it. And for clarity on the last question, Quacker's quote for that was on the R-Truth show. And we'll see the answer for this quote in 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Chris.
Incorrect with Chris. Scott?
Oh, I put down Chris as well because maybe they're talking about Punk match. He's a fan of Punk. I don't know.
Incorrect. It was actually Nathan Fisher talking about the John Cena Brock Lesnar match on the Brock Lesnar profile show.
Right.
We love you, Nathan. Our next one. How funny would it be if this kid got bro kicked? How funny would it be if this kid got bro kicked? It's a wonderful thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
We will see who you guys think that was in 4, 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Sarah.
Incorrect with Sarah. Scott?
I thought something so horrible could only be said by someone like Strack.
You are correct. That was indeed Strack. And that was on the Mania 34 Fallout show.
Mm-hmm.
Our last quote. It's a wild dictation of events, but it's pretty much spot on. That could be one that's potentially stumped our competitors there. We will see what scores they turn in.
If I've got the right answer and Dave doesn't, if it's who I think it is, it's gonna be weird.
Well, we'll find out just now, actually. Scott?
That sounds like something David Haughney would say.
It's incorrect. It was not Dave. Dave, who did you say?
Stephen.
Well, you're both incorrect. It was Chris.
Ah.
Chris said that on our Sting profile show. Now, coming out of the third round, just there, we're currently now at the situation where Scott is a point up again. You're 9-8. And we're going to go into our next round, which is all about debuts. So I'm going to give you a name of a panelist. Just tell me what show they debuted on. It's simple enough. So we'll see how you guys do. And for starters, me. What show did I debut on?
I was on that show, so hopefully I get this right. Because I didn't recognize Dan when he walked in, so if we're saying like, who the fuck is this man who's wandered into here? I thought you were a student at Cali.
Oh, I was, but just a wrong year. And 3, 2, 1. Dave.
Worst world champions?
Incorrect. Scott?
The NWO.
NWO is correct. And our next panelist, what show did Alan McLucas debut on? Alan's been around a bit longer than I have on the pod, so reaching a bit further back into the catalogue, I believe. And we'll see what answer you have in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dave.
Wrestling weddings.
Incorrect, I'm afraid.
I don't know if that's wrong yet.
That was before he was when Stone Cold Steve Austin show.
You're both incorrect. It was the Undertaker, The Streak.
Ah.
Incorrect for that one. Points still unchanged. The next one. What episode did the man with the smoothest voice in podcasting, Gary Kernahan, debut on?
Mm-hmm.
Gary Kernahan, a one-time competitor on Quiz Showdown. Go check out Quiz Showdown 7 for his lone appearance on the show so far. And we'll get an answer. Yeah, you're on that one. We'll have an answer in 3, 2, 1. Dave.
Was it the Divas era of wrestling?
The Divas era of wrestling is correct. Scott.
I put that too. There were a couple of notable debuts on that show, not just Gary.
There we go. You're both up a point on that one. Our next one. She is the team captain of the Nikki Barden Bellas on Saturday Draft Live. What episode did Stacey Smith debut on?
Ooh.
Oh.
Much love here at Eat Sleep Suplex Retweet for our Stacey Smith. And we will get your answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott.
She's an ICW regular, so I put I can't remember what year, but it was a Fear and Loathing preview, 2017 maybe.
Fear and Loathing 2017 preview is correct. David?
No, Best Stables.
No point there, I'm afraid.
I was trying to think what number was it. I thought the number is just say the year.
Now, the year is acceptable. We'll take that. Next, it's someone that you two know very well. What episode did Jack Graham debut on? Jack Graham won quarter of the Saturday Draft Live quartet, along with Scott Haughney and the GOAT David Campbell, the winner of the previous Ironman match. We will find out their result in 3, 2, 1. I'll come to you first, David.
Best character changes.
Incorrect, I'm afraid. Next, I believe it's Scott next.
I think it was the best overseas talent in the UK show.
Scott goes correct on that one. And
he was so nervous. So cute.
And then a week later, that was me. And our last one here for round 4. Only another round before we go to the quickfire round, and we have 13 minutes on the clock. What show did Ryan Gallagher debut on?
Oh.
And just a reminder, while we are a wee bit out from the final round, you both still have your 1 minute break options if you wish to exercise them. If not, there'll be a minute before we go into the last round. We'll get your answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. David.
I've got it wrong, but I said Mania 35 preview.
Incorrect for that, I'm afraid. Scott?
This is the one I'm unconfident about. Money in the Bank 2018 preview.
You're both incorrect. He debuted on the preview show for TakeOver New Orleans.
TakeOver, yeah.
It was
I was close there. It was a preview.
You got it partly right, but no points there, I'm afraid.
Sadly, yeah.
Coming out of round 4, Scott, you've made a bit of a lead on Dave. You're 13-9 at the moment. So
coming out
Dave,
of my cage.
Coming out of the cage, will this be the next round that David...
1 minute break.
David is exercising a minute break. The clock will count down. There'll be no questions. Dave, have your breather. Scott, how are you feeling at the moment?
I'm doing good. I think part of the reason that helped me the last couple of rounds or so was because I guess Steven also posted those a compilation of past intros, which has been fun. So I kind of have a vague memory where people joined in at, back in the old Strathclyde days. But I'm just bizarre that I got the draft one, not as my right that one, because I think maybe I've spent too long leaving the numbers to other people that I've forgotten.
Well, we'll see how your co-host Jack and Goat feel about that. Dave, how are you feeling at the moment?
Not great. The debut shows was going to be a bit of a mess up because everybody sort of overlaps each other quite a lot, and sometimes I'm just sort of close either side. But nah,
that was one I couldn't afford to lose points on.
Well, we will see how you guys are on the next round. The next round is going to be on introductions, which perhaps may be a bit more memorable for the bands that's involved. And the minute break is now over. We are going to start round 5, and this is on the introductions. I'm going to give you the burn that was used. You just have to tell me who was the recipient of the burn.
All right.
Okay.
So the first one up is, nothing I could say could cut through him as badly as a Glen Kamara pass. Nothing I could say could cut through him as badly as a Glen Kamara pass. And I will take your guesses in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Ryan.
Ryan Gallagher is correct. Scott?
I also put Ryan because it sounds vaguely football, so it had to be
Aye.
either Ross or Ryan.
That's
I nearly said Alan, but I thought, Ryan Gallagher, massive Celtic guy, had to be him.
Yeah, it was Ross who hosted him on that one.
Very good.
The next quote, if you say New Japan into a mirror 3 times, this man will appear behind you and give you 1,004 reasons why Okada is the greatest of all time. I get the feeling David Campbell might disagree with that particular last sentiment, but that's not my business to discuss that, I suppose. And we will find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Scott?
It was me delivering the burn to Grant McRobbie on a Jericho show.
Grant is correct, and Dave also has Grant, so both of you go a point up here. Well done. Next one. We are joined by someone who is in favor of tackling the climate crisis, so much so he constantly recycles his own jokes. Who is a climate warrior who wants to tackle the climate jokes? We'll find out that answer in 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Was it me?
It's incorrect, I'm afraid. Scott?
Sorry, I said Dave as well. It sounded like...
It's incorrect for both. It was actually me. And that was a burn written by my own fiance. Cheers, Pamela.
I love.
That was a character change episode. Chris, the mastermind, how dare he? The next one. For those hoping for Milkomania 2, you can forget it with this man. Milkomania 1 was strange enough. I mean, hey, Milkomania 4, The Fourth Awakens, that was an interesting one to watch. Next, it'll be 3, 2, 1. Dave?
Because he's lactose intolerant, it's Kwaku.
It is indeed Kwaku Ajay. Scott, who did you have?
I second guess myself. I just put Dave again.
Incorrect, I'm afraid.
I was going to say Kwaku.
No, not him, I'm afraid. Points are 15 to Scott and 12 to David. Catching up there, Dave. 29. Behind the scenes, apparently Randy Orton is an arsehole. This next panelist is an arsehole behind the scenes and to your face. It's like wonderful reading these out because it's like memories of the days where we could just be in the room together. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I'm doing
One
this way.
day.
It's like cyberbullying doing it this way.
Hot take from Scott there. 3, 2, 1. Scott?
Was it aimed at Ross, maybe?
It was not aimed at Ross, I'm afraid.
I also said Ross.
Incorrect. It was Gary roasting Steven.
Uh,
That's why we're so in sync sometimes, even the ones we get wrong.
Yeah,
Actually, more the one
there's nothing wrong with your brains thinking. That shows you guys think on the same wavelength here. Our last one. This panelist drinks, they smoke, so they aren't quite straight edge. Yeah, drinking and smoking definitely do not fit the definition of straight edge. I don't think that would be the case. And 3, 2, 1. Dave.
Sarah.
Sarah Grieve is correct. Scott?
Yes. Yeah, Sarah. I'll try to think who else was on the Punk show, so it definitely wouldn't be me. I don't smoke.
I was going to say Stacey, but no, she wasn't on the show.
Well, very interesting. So here we go. Now we are about to go into the last round. Scott, you do have a few seconds left if you are wanting to exercise a minute break, just so you know. If not, we are going to go straight into questions on the last round.
I'm good.
Scott's good. Oh, we're going to go in. Folks, we're going all in on this one, or all out. You decide. So since we have a bit more time, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to ask a question, and just when you have an answer you feel good about, raise your hand. I will take your answer, and then we just crack on. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Here we go, folks. This is for all the marbles. Scott is leading on 16. David is on 13. Can he overtake him and perhaps win? Will Scott secure a 5th win? We're about to find out. This is all a blast from the past, folks. Question 31. What is Undertaker's win-loss record at WrestleMania? Dave has an answer. Scott has an answer. Dave?
25-2.
25-2 is correct. Scott?
I had the same answer. I remember that quiz.
Good. Good start, folks. Our next question. Who is the youngest Intercontinental Champion in WWE history? Scott first.
Johnny Nitro.
Incorrect. Dave?
Jeff Hardy.
Correct. Our next question. Truth or lies? Kane has won more world title matches at SummerSlam than Hulk Hogan. Okay, both have answers, so we'll go for Dave first.
True.
It is true, Scott.
True, it was also on Ross's SummerSlam quiz.
That's very true. Our next question. I think we might run out of questions, to be honest. Christian and Triple H have never faced each other one-on-one. True or false? Scott first.
True.
It is correct, Dave.
True.
That's correct. Interesting statistic, to be honest, when you think about it.
Yeah.
All right. Next, who has defeated The Undertaker in a last ride match? You got the hand up first on my end, so I'll take Dave's answer first.
JBL.
Goes correct with JBL, Scott.
JBL was assistance from Heidenreich.
Ah, yes. Don't forget our dear Heidenreich. Michael Cole certainly doesn't. Next up, name the only superstar to open and close the same SummerSlam. All right, I'll take Scott.
Alberto Del Rio.
Alberto Del Rio.
Both gentlemen are correct there. Next up, how many men took part in the very first Royal Rumble match? Both firing up again. We're going to run out of questions, lads. Take your time. Dave first.
20.
20 is correct. Scott, you had the same?
Yep.
All righty.
People are just going to think we're copying the other, but they won't believe.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. Like, as soon as you say correct, Scott could easily just say, yeah, I totally got that as well.
I mean, to be fair, except for the IC one, I got that wrong.
I mean, we'll see how this goes for the rest of it. I might take that into consideration. Next, which member of the Undisputed Era made their first appearance in WWE all the way back in 2010? Oops, Scott looks a bit unsure there. We'll go for Scott first.
Roderick Strong.
Roderick Strong.
Both are incorrect. It was Austin Jenkins, aka Adam Cole.
In 2010?
I'm sure Roderick Strong
appeared
as an enhancement talent in like 05 or something like that.
Nope, Adam Cole appeared in a skit with the Straight Edge Society that year. The one where Serena got caught in the bar. Yeah, he was the guy that chatted up Serena in the bar.
Oh.
Before he met Britt Baker, obviously.
Yeah. Next question. Who won the Immunity Battle Royal at Survivor Series 2001? Maybe a fairly straightforward one. Dave?
Test.
Scott?
Test. This is a test.
Yes, it is a test. You're very correct. It is a test. Our next one. What year saw the only Royal Rumble appearance of Ernest the Cat Miller? Dave?
2004.
Scott?
2004. I remember that.
Yep.
What a moment.
Less said about him, the better, I suppose.
Oh, he was great.
Aye. Our next question. WrestleMania 2 was held in Rosemont, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, and which other city? Dave's got a grin on his face. Dave?
Uniondale, New York.
Scott?
Uniondale, a source of much controversy.
Uniondale is correct. It follows everyone everywhere, much like Alan Jones. Our next one. Who was the Iron Man of the 2017 Royal Rumble match? I'll go for Scott first on this one.
Chris Jericho.
Chris Jericho.
Jericho is correct for both gentlemen. Well done. Next question. Who accompanied Wendy Richter to the ring at WrestleMania 1? Dave?
Fabulous Moolah.
Incorrect. Scott?
Cyndi Lauper.
Hammett.
Cyndi Lauper is correct. Our next one. Who is the only superstar to cash in Money in the Bank at WrestleMania? Dave?
Seth Rollins.
Scott?
Seth Rollins seems like a straightforward one for a past quiz show. I don't remember that being used.
I think I used an old one from ages ago. I went to the well here. Next question. What was the first pay-per-view held under the WWE banner? Dave.
Judgment Day, 2002.
Correct. Scott.
I hosted that one, Judgment Day 2002. Dave couldn't get it at the time, he's learned.
Next one. When WWE held the first tribute to the troops, who appeared as Santa? Scott.
Stone Cold!
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold is correct, yes. What is the correct ending to the phrase, it's Sunday? Dave.
You know what that means.
Scott.
And you know what that means. I don't
Both
know where the
correct.
accent came from.
Yeah, a bit weird. And next question. What was the first pay-per-view held in the Thunderdome?
Oh, you bastard.
Scott.
I think it was Dave. It was SummerSlam 2020.
Aye, SummerSlam, yeah, 2020.
Correct. Dave. Correct.
SummerSlam,
Got
yeah.
it.
Are you sure you knew that,
Next
Dave?
question.
You sure about that?
At which time, at which Fear and Loathing did Lionheart win his final ICW heavyweight title? Go for Dave first.
11.
11 is correct. Scott.
11. Most of us were there. I was mostly disappointed.
Oh, yeah,
though.
you sure you knew that, Scott? You sure you knew that?
Yeah, it was there.
Well, gentlemen, I can reveal that as I asked that question, the timer has gone.
Oh, this has been tense. I like that last round, honestly.
And I can reveal that, gentlemen, there is a winner.
Oh, no sudden death this time. Interesting.
The winner, and still Quiz Showdown champion, Scott McLeod, with a final score of 33 points to 30. Scott, I'll get comments from you in a few moments. Dave, you did bloody amazing there, mate.
It was the debut show that let me down. That's, again, like I said in the break, it was just mixing up shows from either side. I was always like going to be a couple off, but nah, it's just one of those things. It's trips you up and you just can't recover from it.
Yeah, it's one that you have to try and kind of, get spot on it, I suppose. But you did an absolutely great job there. You have nothing to be ashamed about, pal. Absolutely fantastic effort.
I'm just glad I was able to close the gap at least a couple of times, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough to secure it.
Well, it may not have been victory for you here, but I am definitely looking forward to the next time that we have you on the show, my friend. Absolutely brilliant work. Absolutely fantastic.
I tell you what, save me for the Christmas special. That's where I can, because I'll be turning 30 by that point, and maybe it'll be a nice little birthday present to finally win the Quiz Showdown Championship.
Well, we'll have to see who's champion on that one, because our host for that episode is actually the person who just won today, and that is Scott.
Before I comment on the outcome of today's match, David, honestly, you always put in a solid performance in these quizzes, even when you don't win, and more so than before. This is more like the David Haughney that I want. This is the David Haughney I want, especially in that last round. And so you and I are seemingly more in the same way they went as the ones we got wrong than the ones we got right at the time. But that wasn't easy. Like even up until the end, I still wasn't sure if I could have a wide enough gap. Having said that, victory! That's 5 wins. I have broken Ross's record. I'm no longer tied. Thank you very much. People said Scott's reign has to end. He's got too sassy. Sassy is what wins you quizzes. And yes, Daniel, you're right. A lovely Christmassy themed one in December will be hosted by myself. I'm going to put a lot of time and effort into putting that together. So I will not be the defending champion at that point. However, due to contractual obligations, I will be on next month's show, hosted by Sarah Grieve, if she can find anyone who still wants to play after my reign of dominance. But, I'm not going to go into that and just lie down and hand someone else the championship to carry into that quiz. No, I'm going to walk in there, do what I do best, and then come Quiz Showdown 17, or markedly, Quiz Showdown X7, because it will be the greatest Quiz Showdown we've ever done. I will then graciously, as only I can do, vacate the championship, tie it up in a nice little bow, and present it as a nice Christmas gift, as a consolation for people who probably wouldn't have beat me if I was involved. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Part of me wishes I could just end it right there, because that was a very lovely promo there. But in terms of your Quiz Showdown in December, you do have a title for it. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. I do indeed. It will be titled Quiz Showdown X7. Christmas ain't easy. So, Dave, you don't have to go up against me in this quiz because I'm thinking more a games focused than a knowledge based one. So you may have a chance here, although you've been on both of the ones I hosted and haven't won so far. So, we'll see how you get on now. And I look forward to, have a wee break in November and then come back. Hopefully, we see more of this in December.
Mm-hmm. All right, sounds like a plan.
Very excellent, folks. And again, I just want to say congratulations right now to the both of you. You absolutely smashed it today. And of course, we have to acknowledge our reigning defending Quiz Showdown champion, now the all-time winner of Quiz Showdown on 5 wins, Scott McLeod. A brilliant effort today, my friend. David, like I said earlier, nothing to be ashamed of. I want you back on the show whenever you want to next time. There'll always be a spot for you, my friend.
I'll be back for the Christmas special. Don't you worry about that.
You've heard it here, folks. He'll be on the Christmas special. And Scott, again, brilliant effort, and I will catch you next month, my friend.
Of course you will. You need me here.
Yeah, true. Well, 5 times the king, it seems. Scott McLeod is now the owner of the record for most all-time wins here on Quiz Showdown, as well as another successful defence of the Quiz Showdown Championship. We have to give a massive congratulations, though, to David Haughney on his efforts today. He has nothing to be ashamed of. A brilliant performance from the stats man of Saturday Draft Live, and I hope we see him back here on the show soon. Now, Scott will be back next month on Quiz Showdown 16, or 2000. WWE's numbering style's a bit weird. Anyway, the Bath Bomb Princess herself, Sarah Grieve, she will be back in the driver's seat next month to host a throwback quiz. It's Quiz Showdown 16. Oh my god, we're back again. We'll see you around, folks. However, he will be back on the next episode, as the Bath Bomb Princess herself, Sarah Grieve, will be back in the driver's seat to host a throwback quiz. To host a throwback quiz. The quiz will not be a regular kind of quiz, as the last time I was doing so good. Rock and roll lifestyle, eh? David Campbell and Scott McLeod fought in our highest viewed episode, which was called Quiz Showdown